I'm Rowena Christmas. I've been a GP here in Trellick, which is a rural village between Monmouth and Chepstow, probably the most beautiful place in the world, for the last 20 years. I was dealing with at least half of my workload, probably more, with people with coronavirus symptoms, probably end of March, early April. Now I'm hardly seeing it at all, and that's because we've locked down so effectively. But I'm seeing an awful lot of frail older people who are dying, probably of coronavirus. So deaths we usually have perhaps one a fortnight. I think in our practice, obviously you have peaks and troughs, but I think that's how it averages out. Whereas I've written a death certificate, I think, 9 times in the last 14 days, much more than usual, and I've put coronavirus suspected as either the cause or a secondary cause in all of them. So whilst the general population aren't seeing it, and we're not seeing it in the general population, it's very much out there. I ran out of condolence cards. I've got a stack of them, and I always write a condolence card when a patient dies and try and put something lovely and personal in. And I went to get one out and they'd all gone, and obviously I just had written so many death certificates and it just really brought it home. And yeah, so we've got the seats in the waiting room are all taped up, so people can only sit sort of quite a distance apart, but actually very few people sit in the waiting room. Patients coming to see me, I tell them to come in their car, give me a beep, and I'll come and get them, because if there's a possibility they've got coronavirus, I don't have them come in through the front entrance. I'm sort of pop this mask on, please try not to cough, don't touch anything, and take them around to the very back of the surgery and into the treatment room and out again, so that protects all the staff and the other more vulnerable patients. Of course, it's not great for everybody, and especially kids, vulnerable children, the worry for those. It's just children in sort of this pressure cooker of family life, which, the happiest, most secure families are occasionally finding hard. The children who aren't in those happy families, and we know that alcohol consumption, sales of alcohol have gone up, and they haven't got teachers keeping an eye on them, they haven't got social workers, they haven't got medics keeping an eye. We don't know, but we do know that phone calls to Childline have gone up. We know that domestic violence incidences have gone up. So we've got to get them out, really. I don't know what the answers are, but I do think we've got to get kids back to school. So I'm a big silver lining seeker. I think the biggest thing we need to do is try and use this opportunity to come out of lockdown and help the environment a little bit. Because I am seeing fewer illnesses, and yes, that's probably that people are not wanting to bother us and are afraid to sort of phone up in case they go into hospital, but I think it's a bit more than that, and possibly the reduced pollution, because the levels are right down. We know that pollution kills thousands of people every year, so we might be seeing fewer episodes of exacerbation of asthma or chest infections or migraines, all these other conditions that people get because the air they're breathing isn't very healthy. So public transport's such a huge issue for coming out of lockdown. We've signed up to this environmental practice scheme. I've got my e-bike, so I'm not driving to work anymore, and I'm not driving sort of to do visits. And I thought patients might not like that very much. Patients love it, they think it's delightful. And just for COVID, it's quite good because I'm in my mountain biking kit, and then I pull my scrubs on over the top and my apron and my mask, and I've got my bag to put it all in, go into the patient's house, take it all off afterwards, stick it in the plastic bag and in my rucksack, and I'm not sat in my car in my scrubs potentially sort of, contaminating my car, so it feels a bit safer in that way. I say it all the time, I think I've got the best job in the world because the practice is in the most beautiful place in the world, and it's just magic here. The bluebells are out at the moment, the wild garlic, you just walk and you get this incredible aroma of just relaxation and calm, and however terrifying everything feels, this will still be here. The wild garlic will still grow, the bluebells will still bloom next year and the year after, regardless of whatever else is going on.